Anyone ask the questions?
Yeah, I wanted to. I'd rather actually do that.
Had it all along, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll have Alexis joining us.
Yeah, she should be.
Let me go grab her real quick. Do we have Alexis coming?
Yeah, we're working on it right now.
Okay.
We'll give her a second.
She should be ready.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what we'll do is once Alexis is here, we'll start with a statement from Coach Meek about the game, and then we'll have questions for the student athletes. Once those questions are done, we'll dismiss the student athletes and have a few questions for Coach. So we'll just get started as soon as she's here.
What questions would you like to ask?
Oh, no, I don't have any questions. I was kidding. No, I was kidding.
He's full of jokes.
Right up here. All right, Coach, go ahead.
Yeah, well, first of all, I couldn't be any more proud of our team. I think that if you haven't had a chance to see this team play a lot, I think the fight that they showed in this game is representative of what they've been all year. And, we might not have the most size in comparison to some of these teams and, some different advantages that teams have, but this team has just incredible amount of heart, and they've showed that, displayed it all season long, and this was just another moment in their season. I feel like Washington State is an awesome team, and we knew we were in for a major challenge, and they showed that from start to finish, and they're well coached, and they do great things, and I'm proud of what our team is done, and we know we got our work cut out again tomorrow too.
All right, questions for the student athletes.
Maisie, you guys have had a lot of close games down the stretch. The second half today, did that feel like sort of a breakout for you, that you just maybe your best stretch you've had in quite a while?
Yeah, I do think so. I think we were just the first half trying to find our legs, trying to, get something going for us. But I think we remained confident in our team and what we could do. And I still think the best is yet to come. I don't think that we can put that together for 40 minutes, and then that'll be really fun.
Alexis, what did you think triggered the defense in the third quarter? I think they had a stretch where they missed 13 straight shots.
Well,
in progress.
I think the defense is the most important part of the game. From the beginning of the game, we knew that we had to come out strong on defense. I think that we lacked the intensity as much as we could have came out with, but we knew that we had to bring that the whole second half in order to come back.
All right. Who else got a question? Right here in the front.
Maisie, when you're playing in a tournament like this, is the first half of the first game sometimes difficult to get it cranked up? Because it seemed like the difference between the halves was pretty dramatic, and you guys played with a lot of fury in the third quarter especially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a blessing to be get that automatic bye and play in the semifinals, but it's also our first game getting out there and trying to find a groove, and so I think that's kind of what you saw. Just trying to figure it out, just trying to, get our legs under us and everything, but the second half was just much better, and I think we felt way more confident as a team and kind of more like how we expect ourselves to play.
Alexis, I wonder if you can just sort of reflect on your journey coming to Portland this year and what this feels like, because you haven't experienced something quite like this.
Okay, well, I think coming from LMU, I have a very familiar taste about how the tournament works, and I think that being on a team that's not at the top, you have to play so many games, and it's so much harder to get that. But my mindset kind of shifted. I feel like I had a whole different nerves. I was telling my teammates that the nerves I had for this game was being on this team is I trust them so much, and there's only 2 games that we had to put in 40 minutes, and the amount of trust that I have for them and the excitement that I have, it was the nerves were butterflies, but they weren't let me just stop it there. Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
But they weren't what?
They were good
They were
butterflies.
good butterflies, great butterflies.
You guys get Oregon State tomorrow. When you think about that, what do you remember from those games that you had with Oregon State?
I mean, that was a long time ago. So, I think in the second game specifically, I think we played really well as a team. We got a lot of great team shots. We were playing at the pace that we wanted it to be more like. We really made an emphasis on rebounding and boxing out because we have quite a bit of a size disadvantage down there. But, I think we just put 40 minutes together that game, and that's what Mike talks about all season long, is that's going to be really important to our success is, coming out and putting a full 40 minutes of effort and defensive intensity out there. So that's what stands out to me.
Let's go to the one question we have online.
We'll go to Brenna Green.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Macy, this now is the third straight championship game you guys have been to since you've been here, and that's just obviously unprecedented territory for this university. How does it feel to just continually keep setting milestones for this team and this school?
Yeah, I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. I'm very fortunate. I'm blessed to be playing under Mike and this coaching staff. It's really a special group here. We have great administration. The culture of our program is unlike any other. And so I think what makes us unique is we have a program across the board that truly and genuinely loves and cares about each other. And I think that's what you see out there. That's why we have so much success. I mean, it's a great community. It's a great university. I think, nothing but positive things to say. And for a lot of us, this is our last run. And we've been fortunate to be Emmy, Mikkel. We've been in this moment before. Some of our sophomores, we have a very veteran group who has been here before. So just using that experience, but also just being grateful for the opportunity because it is, really a blessing to be playing in another championship.
All right. Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Take water.
Okay, questions for Coach? All right, start right here.
How would you describe the Oregon State-Portland rivalry at this point?
I don't think because it's the first time in the league, there's not really a rivalry. I think they're a great team. Obviously, they have a team that was in the Elite Eight, an awesome coach. They have, the size and physicality that's given us problems. So, I know that we know that we had our work cut out. We know when Washington State and Oregon State joined our league that, it was going to add a new element to our league in itself. Just as great as our league already is, it adds two more teams that have traditions of being in the NCAA tournament and making runs and coaches that help make their teams get better throughout the year. So, it's just another great team. I mean, it's Gonzaga, Washington State, San Francisco, Oregon State, all the way down the line. I mean, you see our scores. I mean, everyone is great, and we know that everyone's going to give us a great challenge. And I'm just so proud of this team, how they compete all season long. And we're sitting here with 3 losses on the season, and I think by a combined 7 points. And one of those team that played in the Elite Eight, and the other 2 are to a team that played in the Sweet 16. We've just had a phenomenal year, and we're looking for the opportunity tomorrow, but we also know what a challenge that's going to be.
The last time you played played Oregon State, that was the one time Oregon State had their only their lopsided losses. I think it was 25 points. And I remember Scott saying Portland played like they were out for blood that night. Is that something that is going to be hard to not replicate, but kind of, Oregon State's going to remember that one because of how it felt, I guess.
I think coaches have narratives and that wasn't what we were thinking. And we just know that we're going into an elite program on their home court, and we would have been happy with a 1-point win against a team like that. So it was never in our mind at all that this was like a revenge game or like we were just like another great team, and we just came off a tough loss with Gonzaga, and we knew we had Washington State after that. So we had the gauntlet of the top teams on the road 3 games in a row, and You know, I was probably more impressed with just our players competing for 40 minutes, but we also shot incredibly well that game, and you can't ever go into a game counting on that. And I think the first game was way more indicative of how close and how competitive these two teams are.
All right, next question.
Mike, I know you guys play fast and play hard all the time, but can you just take us through a little bit of the third quarter and what you were seeing and feeling as your team seemed like it played like with a real frenzy defensively?
I think, you know, we like a lot of teams, and we've had some really key injuries to some great players that would have been huge to this team. And, you know, Deani being one of them, and she is an elite player that hasn't played, led our team in scoring 8 to 10 games as a freshman last year. And so our depth has been challenged, but we do feel like we have great depth. And I think the way we play is wearing not only to other teams, but also to us. And, you know, I felt like in that second half, we were able to play with a little bit more intensity. I thought we did a little bit better job of staying in front of the ball. And I thought we did a way better job of sharing the ball and playing together. I thought in the first half, we just played tight. And like Maisie said earlier, I think she put it really like in a great terms, is that it's nice to have the advantage of not having to win 3 games or 4, but it also is an advantage if you get by that game to have a game under your belt. And I feel like it, not only are we playing a great team, but they had already had a tournament game, and we have we have a lot of new players on this team that weren't on last year's team too. And Alexis and Trista have been phenomenal additions to our team, and but you know, we also graduated some great players and have some great players that are out too.
Any other questions? Right there.
People talk about the culture of your program, and you know, when you first got there, is this kind of what you saw unfolding, or do you make it up as you go, or how does that go?
You know, I don't think you can ever envision something like this. I mean, this is what you hope kind of occurs, right? And the fact that we've played in 4 championships in 6 years, and I think another semifinal game in the 1 year. COVID year was the only year we didn't make it pretty deep in the tournament. But what this team is and what the teams have been before them is exactly what I would want to see in a program. I mean, they literally care for each other so much, and you could see the way they competed today is like they just don't want it to end, and they're going to go down competing and fighting. And this team's been awesome. I mean, and the teams before them, right? Like it's been something that they feel the pressures of not winning the tournament at all, but carrying on the care for one another and the fight for one another. And we don't focus on wins and losses. We focus on the experience and what we can create for one another. And we feel strongly that if we do that, good things are going to happen. And I couldn't be any more proud of what this group stands for.
Okay, we have one question online. Go ahead.
We'll go to Isaac with the Portland Tribune.
Right, Mike was turned off. Mike, this kind of becomes the George Fox Bowl for the championship now. What's it like getting to coach against your predecessor there and fight for the championship?
Well, I mean, I would rather probably be coaching against other people only because I know what an awesome coach Scott is. And, you know, I know that he has his teams prepared. I know they play hard. I know they play with the system. I think he's been a proven winner. And other than that, I mean, I've said this all along. Anytime you move programs like Oregon State and Washington State into our league, it adds another Gonzaga-level program into our league, and it makes it way harder for us to find a way to get through. And I don't put anything into anyone we play. I put everything into who we want to be and the standards that we want to be, and we focus. We'll prepare personnel and try to know those type of things, but at the end of the day, what matters most is that we're the best version of ourselves tomorrow, and it doesn't matter who we play. And I'm not, I don't think anybody's thinking anything more than that. Our kids probably didn't even know that we coach at the same school. So at the end of the day, we're just glad to be a championship, and yet we know we're facing a team that has so much incredible size and physicality, and And like us, have improved as the season has gone on. You know, I think that we both played great preseason schedules, and I think we both set ourselves up to have an opportunity to play in a game like this.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
I am not even.
Okay, we will start with a statement from Coach Etheridge, and then we'll have questions for the student athletes. After those questions, we'll dismiss them and have a few more questions for Coach.
Yeah, I mean, disappointed in our performance in the second half, disappointed probably in myself more than anything. I just think that's that execution was on me as much as anyone, and more than anyone. I really have so much respect for Portland and their players and their poise and their system. You know, they took a lot of chances in the first half, and we made them pay for that. They just changed up and kind of kept us in front and pressured us still. Their pressure still bothered us. We came across the half court much slower, and we just didn't have the discipline to get ourselves into good spacing on the floor and kind of the things that we wanted to run and actions that we wanted to have. It doesn't help to not make very many shots, but it's a credit to them and how they expose some of the things that we're not great at. And, you know, they're a tough team, and they're a poised team, and they're an experienced team, and playing a little bit of youth. And I'm excited about the future of our team and who we are and what we can become. Disappointed for Tara and this performance, and really wish them all the best and luck. And again, this is a tough second half for me, you know, individually.
All right, questions for the student athletes. Go ahead.
Just for either one of you, it seemed that a lot of the pressure they were doing kind of looked the same, but you guys weren't able to get some of the back cuts or the open looks. Was there something in their high ball pressure that changed in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was just more intensity. They probably went into the locker room at half, and it's like, we don't want to go home. I mean, I think most of the team are seniors, so they had that mentality going into the second half, and it hurt us, but I think in other ways we got some easy buckets. But yeah, they definitely brought up the intensity.
Coach, maybe be able to answer this a little more aptly, but for you, how much are you still wanting to hopefully play in a postseason tournament and just have a chance to continue your career for another few games?
I mean, I would love to. It's just another opportunity to play and to play with WSU on my chest. And then another experience for the freshmen growing up. And I mean, I wish I had a couple more years to play with them because they're only going to get better, and I know they're going to get back to this spot next year and go to the finals. But yeah, I'm just super excited for what's next in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully go as far as we can.
Deanna, Coach East talked about you a lot this season, just kind of your growth and maturation. But just from your own kind of reflection, where do you feel like you've grown the most as a basketball player this season?
Can you repeat, please?
Where do you feel like you've grown the most as a player this year?
Oh, I think I've grown the most mentally. It's more, I just gained more confidence through the years and just have some reps on the spot I play and make me more confident, so that's why.
Any other questions? Oh, in the back, sorry.
Tara, you talked about the senior perspective for Portland, but a lot of times, you have peers that are going through that season with you. What's it like to kind of walk that journey alone this year as the lone senior?
It's been hard, emotional, but it was a challenge, and I could have backed away, but I feel like I stood up to the challenge and did a pretty good job. But this year was definitely the hardest out of the 4 years, but I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else beside my side and with Coach E. So it's been a hard year, but it's been a really fun and just a good experience for me to growing my leadership skills, because I didn't have that before. So it's been a whirlwind, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay. Thank you both. Thank you. We'll have a few questions for Coach. Okay, go ahead.
Coach, just kind of what I asked the players too. Just from you, kind of what you saw, it just seemed that there wasn't as much flow offensively. Some of the open looks you weren't getting, and then when you did good open looks, it was finding some kind of iron instead of twine. It just kind of, what did you see that maybe didn't go right for the offense in the second half versus what did go right in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like they trapped as much and created the opportunities for us to pass through it or over it and get some easy buckets that we got in the first half. I think it just kind of turned into, we're just going to make whoever gets it bring it up, and sometimes that was in the wrong people's hands. And it took a little bit of time to get there and a little bit of indecision, and now all of a sudden it's in, Dee's hand or Shasha's hand or something like that, and now we're trying to figure out what we're going to run. So, they super aggressive on the ball, made us really work to bring it up, but not the double team and trapping, which gave us opportunities to try to run past them. I think that was the biggest thing, really their pressure bothered us in the full court, and then it just led to us not getting into really good rhythm in the half court. And again, that to me is, me not being good enough to get us in the right things.
Tara kind of alluded to it, some of the experience. I mean, they start 4 fifth-year seniors, 1 fourth-year senior. They're bringing veterans off the bench. You guys are obviously still very young. Did you feel like that played a role kind of in that third quarter where some of their experience and composure maybe, stood out a little bit, and you felt like maybe some of the youth of the team was kind of, a little bit unsure of what to do?
Yeah, I mean, again, they've got really good players that really conduct their head and get to the rim and create contact, and again, 24 offensive rebounding. We're a little bit more finessey in what we do and not enough rebounding, and again, they've got big, strong bodies that are experienced and know how to play with so much poise at the end of their dribble. They don't get into trouble. They're not, and they can draw fouls. They're just really experienced, and you got to give them credit for that. I think that's the beauty of fifth year or seniors in general. They don't want to lose. I thought Hull's 3 at the end of the first half was another example of just coming in, just getting it started there. Again, their start, offensive rebounding, our start, not being able to finish some easy baskets. and it just kind of went from there. So absolutely, I think you just watched a team that has seniors that does not want to lose and wants to get into the NCAA tournament.
And then kind of asked again, Tara, about this too, but if an opportunity presents itself to keep playing, is that something you guys are going to look into pursuing?
So important that Tara wants to do that. I think that's the biggest thing, a senior that wants to keep playing. Absolutely, the young players, it's our opportunity to really get good minutes for our young players. And everyone on our team's young. I mean, we got one senior, we got, a couple of juniors. So it would be a great thing to be able to host or be in a tournament or go somewhere for a tournament. It doesn't matter. Again, getting some extra games for our young team and getting extra practices would be, I think, just beneficial for us and something they all crave.
You talked before the season about this could be the best team you've ever had. I think what you were talking about was long-term more than short-term. Can you evaluate how that went?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it's kind of like last year. I thought that team was going to be unbelievable, and, just injuries took us out at different times of the year. Injuries kind of took us out a little bit this year, too. Couldn't get Dee on a good rhythm. Don't have her in practice for a lot of the year. Candy's been up and back. Alex out for 4 weeks. Everything would have had to have gone perfect for us to really see how good this team can be, but had to play a lot of players and getting these good, young, athletic freshmen and younger players in our program, just the practice and the individual workouts and obviously getting these games in. It's going to be huge for us as we grow our program and grow these kids and, got good players redshirting, and I mean, there's some really good things going on in our program and the youth of our program and how good I think we can eventually be. But I definitely thought and wanted us to be a little bit better this year too in our win-loss.
All right, question in the back.
Cammie, Tara just mentioned how hard it was for her to step into that more vocal leadership role. How would you evaluate how she did in that role, and how much do you think learning from her can help AT and LA heading into next year?
Well, I think everybody in the country as coaches and every program is trying to build a culture that just, is just runs perfectly like a watch. And all of us are going, you crash all the time and it's not as good as you think. And you got a little inconsistency here. And these are all the things that happen in any and every program out there, especially with 7 new players that some of them can't hardly speak English. So for Tara to be the only one that, your seniors they're my voice when I'm not around. They represent me. Their energy should be the best on the team. Their consistency and work ethic should be the best on the team. And Tara made a commitment to be with us all summer, and she hadn't done that before. Big growth for her, and she knew she had to do that for a young team. I can't imagine being the only senior with this many young players and, internationals and the having to get people in the right spot as much as, you need to bring people along. And that's our challenge now, but I think she's been an amazing leader. I cannot believe her voice and how she stood up and would not compromise and make sure that, what we're trying to accomplish as a program and as a culture, she continued to raise the standard there. So proud of her. So impressed with her, and I think long term it's going to help her so much in her professional basketball career.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Go Cougs.